Okay, it is working. I only have a vague plan for this one, so bear with me. Bear with me. That's weird how the bar does that. Anyways, so the first thing is the Libyan civil war. I said would end today, and it will. But the royalists here have one funny little trick up their sleeve, as they say. Oh yeah, never mind. I forgot who's actually in the war. I think the royalists have one trick left up their sleeves, because the war actually looks like this. I forgot. Well, they'd have shot for a while. But let's just say they tried one more shenanigans and then did like a little trial encirclement here, but then they just battered them. But it's a slow push. But let's say over the next few weeks, it goes as such. And Tunisia's their last holdout. But Gabes, Gabe. They might change the name since then because of French past, but it's pronounced Gabe, pretty sure. And Ekute, Gabe. Yeah, it's Gabe, unless it's just because there's a Z in the end. No, it has to be. Oh, I'm still going on a stupid tangent about it. But yeah. So then we have the Tunisia being given to Algeria as sorry, promised by a specific man who was in charge of the communist Libya at that time. And it makes, I wanted it in Libyan hands, would make sort of more sense to give it to Algeria, I think, because of A, Algeria more stable and garrison better, and B, I think Algeria more claim to anyways than Libya would. But it's just not one Red Dawn Modern Hearts of not Red Dawn, this is Red Dawn, what's it called? The one Hearts of Iron is discontinued now, the guy died ages ago, but they still haven't updated in a while. What was it? Red World, that one. Libya owned it, so I was associated with them. Anyways. Oh, my neck just... Oh. So we might see more shenanigans in Africa next time. I haven't planned out too well and done over and everything. So going over to Europe for the first time in a while, Russia here have finally recovered their economy from the 1945 economic downturn, which happened because of Operation Unthinkable. That's the whole thing's based off of that, so you probably understand. Unless it's your first one, or you didn't watch the first one episode, who knows. Oh yeah, right, to reiterate, because about halfway through the first bit at this point, the whole thing happened because Operation Unthinkable happened and made everyone broke, okay? And Japan just surrendered miraculously, so we don't have to worry about that. Oh, and I say Hirohito got shot, and then all the other guys who didn't want to surrender got shot, which is most of them, but let's say they got a change of tune. Anyways, Russia sent an ultimatum to Ukrainian SSR, Belarusian SSR, and a Moldovan SSR. And they said, can you be integrated back into it? So then, if they did to Baltic states, let's be real, they'd all going to say no. So they don't know much of an embarrassment. So instead they did to these three first. Of course, Belarus, of course they said yes, and then big integration moments there. Moldova accepted like a middle ground, whatever the word's called. I always forget the word for a middle ground. But it's the one in Portugal, no, Brazil in Hearts of Iron, when you push for Portugal unification. It's the one that's not the one where they say no entirely, not the one where you annex them, that is the middle ground. But there's like something on the option that says we'll accept whatever the word is. Alright. Anyway, so their middle grounds they get united with Romania. But Ukraine say no to any sort of middle ground word or anything similar. So what we're about to see, some shenanigans going on, which might be a bit sensitive to modern day topics. But then so is the whole Israel-Palestine thing that we can forget about. I probably should have done that. I respect both sides. That reminds me of Hearts of Iron game I had last night in multiplayer. I'm not gonna say what was said. That was crazy. Anyways, so funny Russia-Ukraine moments. Russia declares war on Ukraine. Sorry to anyone in Ukraine who's might affect right now. It's very sad times. I'm not that sorry though, because this is a fake thing. And also, let's be real, man. I'm not gonna say that. I'll just say like something to do with like Hearts of Iron tangent again. Anyways, slow progress. Because the West are funneling in support from all of this straight up there. And the West being the West, and I'm saying the West, which is a bit rude to half of the West, but the Americans being the Americans set up a stupid little ITO occupation here in Crimea and Donetsk. Is that bit? Which was Donetsk? That's miles away. I'm thinking about a different thing. What's this? I'm being so dumb. What's that? What is this? Oh, well, I'll have to remember it in 10 minutes, but my brain's a stupid thing right now. But they inevitably get pressured out of this by Ukraine saying, like, stop taking our country over. But you can have Crimea, so the Russians can't have it. And more shenanigans occurs. Cheeky little push here. Special military operation over in 2 weeks. Except it's not, and the Ukrainians kind of, how do you call it? Stabilize. That's not the word. I can't think of words right now. But then Russia said, hey, since you guys are getting involved, let's get my buddies involved. So Poland and Romania and Greece to join. But these guys, on my throat, Reggie. These guys have claim to well, there's so many different names for it, but Rafenia is one of them. They said we claim to this. Oh my goodness, my throat's urging. Well, if we join, you give us this, and then we'll join. And he says, hey, we claim to Lwow, where it's called in Ukrainian, but that's what's called in Polish. So if you give us that, we'll join. And the board's gonna be horrendous for that, so don't really have a waypoint kind of thing. And he say, hey, if you give us the rest of Bessarabia, like this bit, that what you claim to, which I forget the name of again, but it's linked into Bessarabia. Alright, then we'll join. And Hungary have also claimed to that, but they said Czechoslovakia now is bigger, so they're getting involved. Hungary, that's sad for them. I actually feel bad for Hungary, man, they're based. Oh, deep breath. So, yep. And then they just kind of got murked, let's be honest. I didn't expect that. Poor little fellas. And I didn't really expect Ukraine to lose this, I'm gonna be honest. And in the end, no, the Americans don't, that's pushing it. So, over the next few weeks, the Ukrainians lose. Big sad for the Ukrainians. But they're not entirely annexed, because if they put up this much of a fight, then the Russians wouldn't do that, so to manage it. But a new Crimean government's put in place, probably under American occupation, let's be honest, they're America. But yeah, so I've got a liberated Crimea down here. You can also put liberation in quotation marks. It's only doing its presence in the Black Sea. They don't really care about the Ukrainians there. Or the Russians there, because they mainly see themselves as Russians. Even today, I'm pretty sure. But I don't remember getting into that, it's probably a bit touchy. Anyways. I'm not politically attracted to either side, man. I'm a neutral little fella, so don't get mad at me over it. I'm just a little guy, and I'm not over here. It's fine. Anyway, so they get their little claim down here. Good day for Romania. Look at that. They get their horribly drawn claim by me, because I have no idea what the borders are, but it looks something like that. Alright, good enough. And their claim goes like oh, wrong colour. So we're like kind of triangulating this. It's like here. Right, and how much that looks accurate. Not bad. Let's say more Poles live over there now, because that doesn't make sense at all, but no, it does make sense. They're all in the Warsaw Pacts, and they moved back over, so there's large Polish communities. So there we go. That's the Polish speaking borders now, because I've declared it as such. And then Russia or Soviet Union, I'll say to make it less touchy, take their Russian, let's say loads of Russians live here, and making some of the borders to look a bit different. Someone's making this up. Or the Dnieper, what is the Dnieper run? I holding Hearts of Iron a lot. So all I do is play Russia recently. So where's the line? It comes from like here, then Vitebsk, and then it like does a funny. Alright, I'm gonna change these borders later probably. No, I'm not making it follow the night, but I won't make much sense. There's something to occupy loads of Ukraine. Okay, so I'm gonna stop being weird. Let's say there's loads of Russians here. According to whoever's in charge of Russia at this point, we're like miles off of history. We're like 20 years into this, and it's been pretty crazy. So a few people have probably been shot. But it was Khrushchev at the beginning. I'll say that for sure. Okay, cool. And then this Ukraine is put a new communist government. So Ukraine still exists, see? Middle ground. Based Ukraine, man. See, look, everyone's happy. Ukraine still exists. Crimea's in no one's hands. See, no arguments, man. It's all good. There we go. That's a horrendous looking Eastern Europe, but is it ever looking nice? I don't know, man. I'm gonna have to do this again on a stupid faction map. Alright. Oh, no, I'll fix that later. That's different. That's future me's problem. Okay. So now what? I had a plan. So Africa's done. Eastern Europe's done. There was something over here, but I don't know. Oh yeah, shenanigans in Afghanistan. Haven't heard that phrase before. So said shenanigans are. So you're gonna see some very familiar borders here. So we have a Taliban sort of moment in the south. Oh, why? Literally, why? Who made this? Look, I've got to fix this now. So what shenanigans in the south are like the Taliban or something. And then the Chinese said, "Hey, we'll liberate you," in quotation marks. And if we have a loyalist communist in the north, away from the Taliban sort of fellas in the south. There we go. I looked at some very familiar borders to a specific thing that happened. It's communists here, and then the entire Fourth International declares war on Afghanistan. So ideologically, we got a reverse IRL going on here, and they're all involved. That's kind of what to highlight. So they even the guerrilla fighters of Afghanistan can't hold the lines out much, and they got modern fighters coming over, and it's just devastating them. So poor day for these like Afghanistan fellas, captured there, and then they keep walking over here, and then they're captured there, and then everywhere, and it all just dies. And then the main guy gets shot by a Chinese operative, and then bang, Afghanistan's in the Fourth International now. Pretty crazy stuff. I didn't say I said it was gonna happen ages ago, but I think I did. Maybe I was just in my head. I don't know. Final thing is funny Mexico declares war on everyone. So they quickly want to get a foothold here for the Americans to do, so they declare on Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, and Nicaragua. Their excuses being for each one, and I'll list them: shenanigans at border, denazification, liberation of the people. But let's say there was war down here with football, man. Let's be real. Like anything can kick off. But let's say shenanigans at border, denazification, and then they's got caught in the middle of it because they exist, aren't they? They ought to be a different colour, I'll tell you, sure. And they all kind of like, and the Americans aren't exactly gonna be cleaning this either, probably. But these guys had to be fast before the Yanks get involved. So they pushed about here. They do some funny business here, spearhead here, and they're like, "Wow, we can crush this easy." But no, and they get cut off at so many different points. They're just snaking. They got tanks from Russia, and maybe some Chinese. No, they're more aligned to Russia, and then the Africa's more aligned to China. So these guys have Russian equipment. And in the end, these guys start getting starved. They fall first, followed by them, followed by them, followed by these guys, and then they all died. And there we go, Big Mexico. Does that make much sense? Not really, but I'm gonna be honest, I want a Big Mexico. And the Americans who bogged down in Crimea, let's say it's happening around the same time, because I can't do it chronologically, or like, you know what I'm trying to say. There we go. Big, little, big, small Mexico. Wait, Costa Rica still exists. Oh, the Americans can have them. There you go. See, there's still some realism in it. Right, so, to recap. This is like 10 minutes long, I don't need to do that. Well, we'll look at the time we're finishing as well.